Plato warned, all democracy passes into tyranny. You imagine tyranny as a king with a crown, but it is not so simple. Tyranny wears many masks. It can be an oligarchy where the rich purchase truth, a plutocracy where greed governs the weak, or the mob itself, mistaking noise for wisdom, elevating flatterers as leaders. Democracy begins with freedom, every voice equal, every desire indulged. But when all desires are equal, discipline collapses. When all voices are equal, reason is drowned beneath the roar of the crowd, and in the chaos that follows, the people beg for order, and in doing so, they accept chains. Tyranny does not always march in with armies. Sometimes it is voted in. Sometimes it is applauded. Sometimes it creeps in so quietly, you only notice when it is too late. Plato saw it. History repeats it. Perhaps you are watching it now.
You ever notice how voters think democracy means freedom? Yeah, that's cute. Democracy used to be a system. Now it's a vibe. We were told everyone should get a vote because that's fair. And it was, for a few minutes. But what happens when every lazy, comfortable, dopamine-addicted citizen gets to steer the same ship? Spoiler alert, the ship doesn't move. It just argues with itself for 100 years. Then sinks under the weight of its own moral hashtags. Welcome to democracy. The only system that lets the rich rule through the poor and still look righteous doing it. People get touchy when you question democracy, like you insulted their religion. It's the political version of CrossFit. Everyone insists it's the best thing ever, but nobody can admit it's burning itself out. The truth is, democracy isn't dying because of the rich. It's dying because of us. Because comfort turned us soft. And soft people vote for whatever makes them feel safe. Not whatever makes sense. So today, we are going to talk about how democracy fell apart. Starting from the moment everyone got a voice. But nobody used their brain. Brace yourself. This one's gonna hurt. Before we start, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so YouTube knows you enjoy watching society collapse in slow motion. Every click helps me afford therapy for living in a world where people think voting for billionaires makes them free. Let's be honest. Democracy sounds amazing on paper. Everyone gets a say. Everyone's voice matters. It's the political version of group projects at school. Except somehow, we keep failing the same class. Because no matter how noble it all sounds, democracy eventually turns into a popularity contest run by rich people who write the rules. People love to say, democracy is the best system. Except for all the others. Yeah, maybe. But that's like saying McDonald's is the best restaurant because the alternatives are eating gravel. It's not exactly a compliment. It's just the only thing keeping you alive right now. The problem with democracy isn't that people vote. It's who is voting and why. In the early days, voting was something you earned. You had skin in the game. You paid taxes. You owned land. You went to war. You had a reason to care about the outcome. Then over time, everyone got the vote. And that sounds noble. Equality, fairness, all that. But here's the catch. Once everyone can vote, emotions become more powerful than logic. Politicians stop trying to win with reason and start winning with feelings. Democracy turned from a system of deliberation into a system of flattery. You don't need to tell people the truth anymore. You might just need to tell them they are right. It's like giving everyone on the Titanic a steering wheel and saying, we are all captains now. Sure, technically, everyone can turn their wheel, but the ship's still going down. Over time, good times arrived. Economic booms, longer lifespans, Netflix. Society basically hit easy mode. And in easy mode, people stop fighting for truth. They start voting for comfort. Good times create weak men. And weak men don't want freedom. They want security. They don't want honesty. They want emotional reassurance wrapped in government subsidies. Once comfort, addiction takes hold, democracy becomes theatre. We still pretend it's about choice, but it's really about which millionaire gets to lie to us for the next 4 years. You don't vote for leadership. You vote for validation. Your political party becomes a reflection of your identity, not your logic. The left screams about compassion. The right screams about freedom. The rich laugh because both sides end up right in them tax loopholes anyway. People say, well, at least we can vote the bad ones out. Sure. And then what? Replace them with a fresh new actor, reading the same script? The system doesn't change. Only the faces do. Every time you think you've picked the good guy, you are really just picking which puppet you want performing in front of the same billionaire puppet masters. You ever wonder why? No matter who wins, things don't really change for the poor. That's not an accident. The system is designed to make you believe you are free, while keeping you too distracted and divided to do anything that actually threatens the people on top. A society of grown adults who expect government handouts like toddlers expect juice boxes. Democracy gave every voice the same volume, but not every voice the same understanding. And when everyone gets to have an opinion, even about things that don't remotely comprehend, you end up with mob rule disguised as justice. The irony of democracy is that the more successful it becomes, the dumber its citizens get. Because freedom leads to prosperity. Prosperity leads to comfort. And comfort leads to apathy. Eventually, people start voting for whoever promises the easiest life. Free stuff. No consequences. Your feelings are valid. Humanity's political evolution peaked the moment we collectively decided that self-control was offensive. Politicians figured this out a long time ago. They used to debate policy. Now they debate pronouns. They discovered that you can keep people fighting over microaggressions forever, while quietly signing billion-dollar tax breaks for their donors. And nobody notices. because everyone's busy cancelling each other on social media. Modern democracy doesn't serve the people, it manages them. It's polite slavery. The rich buy the words, the media spreads them, and the voters repeat them like scripture. We argue about parties, but there's only one real party. The one you are not invited to. And deep down, everyone kind of knows it. That's why trust in government is collapsing worldwide. People sense the scam. But the problem is, they still believe the game can be fixed. That democracy can be purified. It can't. You can't fix democracy with democracy. Any more than you can cure a hangover by drinking more wine. The system isn't broken. This is the system. And look, I'm not saying democracy was doomed from day one. It worked briefly when people were willing to sacrifice. When they respected wisdom over noise. But once comfort became our God, truth became negotiable. People stopped asking what's right and started asking what feels good. That's how you end up with leaders who can't answer simple questions but can cry on cue. That's how you get voters who know every line from their favourite TV show but can't name their local representative. That's how you get a world run by emotionally fragile adults pretending to be oppressed. All while billionaires build rockets to leave the planet they ruined. Democracy's biggest flaw isn't corruption. Corruption just exposes the weakness. The flaw is that democracy assumes people will stay strong when life gets easy. They don't. History proves it every time. When people stop struggling, they start decaying. Morally, mentally, spiritually. They scroll, they argue, they vote. But they don't think. And that's when the rich move in. Not with tanks, not with guns, but with contracts and campaign donations. They don't need to take your freedom. They just buy it from you while you are busy binge watching something dumb. So now we live in a democracy that belongs to corporations, managed by emotional adults, and funded by the very people it was supposed to protect us from. It's the perfect scam, because everyone still thinks they are free.